Greetings all, it's Blue Knight, and welcome back to Slide 3, Honor Among Thieves. Previously, we completed the last two jobs that were required for Bentley, which was Giant Wolf Massacre that we used to thin out some of the Baron's ranks, and we did a little bit of hacking in Windmill Firewall off near the hangar space where the windmills were, and somehow we were able to find a system bug. Windmill throwing stars. It's a lot more absurd than it sounds. Actually, it's equally as absurd than it sounds. But nonetheless, Bentley's gonna find a way to use that somehow, probably, during today's main operation and our main objective, which is Turbo Dominant Eagle. And as in, it's gonna be our time to become this year's Aces champions. Now my coin counter might be a little more different than last episode. I actually forgot to save after I got the grapple cab, so I had to scrounge up some more coins to get that and silent obliteration again. It wasn't that hard to do. I actually came up with a lot more cash than I did when I ended off from my last session, come to think of it. So that's a big plus in my opinion. And with that taken care of, let's start today's operation.
Excellent! The B-Champ's dogfight is beginning! With these guys going at it, no one will notice as you slip onto the gunships and plant a tracking device.
Sounds straightforward enough. Where'd you get these trackers? They look kind of funny.
Best I could do on short notice. They're sensitive to extreme changes in altitude. You'll have to pull this job off at high elevation or it's a bust.
Shouldn't be a problem.
This is the part of the operation that does give me the most difficulty. I will have to admit that. What you have to do is to time your catapult launch just right so you'll be able to paraglide to one of the blimps. This is a lot harder than it sounds because as you can see this blimp in particular is turning. Oh, I can land on the blimp on the backside, nice. Thought I was gonna lose my altitude there.
Excellent. The first tracker's in place. If I'm not mistaken, there should be a pressure vent near the front of the aircraft. It might be just the thing to give you a lift.
This operation, or this part of the operation, can be either very smooth or very rough for you depending on which blimp you land on first.
Well done. 2 down.
Because you may not be next to a blimp that hasn't have a tracker placed on it yet. Also, the blimps might end up turning in a direction that may not be favorable to you, so that's why I say that this part might be a little rough for you if you're not aware of what you're doing.
Great. Just one more tracker and we're in business.
You know, I think this run of the first part of this operation was pretty smooth. I was able to hit all the blimps in a very efficient route. This is actually one of the smoother ones I've had in some time with this part.
Nice work, Flyboy. The gunship's GPS data is flowing in. Head back to the hangar and suit up. Alright, Murray. The Black Baron's communication antenna is held up by 3 support beams. Pull them out of place, and the whole array will fall apart.
Don't worry. If there's one thing I'm good at, it's rowing. And breaking stuff.
And now we begin the fun part of this operation, as is the rest of this heist, if I have to be honest. First things first, we gotta roll away from the windmill to bring it down. We gotta do this at least 3 times to take out all those support beams.
Keep it up. The falling planes are dangerous, but they're perfect cover for this operation.
You'll know when a plane is going to be falling near your vicinity by looking at the drop shadow. So just pay attention to that while you're rowing back, and you will be fine. And there goes number 2. Now for the last one. Actually, the falling planes are marked by just a regular shadow, not a drop shadow. I have no idea why I use that term, but you get what I mean. it doesn't get that harder as you move on, in my opinion. You just got more distance to cover. Other than that, not much to take care of.
The Murray has broken you! Let that be a lesson to all antennas! I will not be trifled with!
Well, this is it! I am the tiger, pal! Look for the Black Baron! Take him out and this competition is all over! And go easy on the throttle! It's been sticking lately!
Quit worrying. I'll see you in the winner's circle.
And this is it, the Aces finals are now underway. The way you can spot the Black Baron's plane is, well, it's not as difficult as you think. It is definitely marked by a black plane, so it's this one. If you're off of the distance, it will be marked by a very bright light, so you will be able to pick it out of the pack. Fun fact, at one point in development, instead of taking out the Baron, you would have had to take out Muggshot, who was slated to be your main opponent at first in the Aces finals, but we all saw what happened to him earlier on in this episode. You can take out all the other planes that are not the Black Baron, but it won't do anything whatsoever. In fact, none of the other planes that are not on the Baron's side will go after the Baron himself. So this is just a regular dogfight, but with a slightly different stipulation, because this is under Sun and Death rules. I'm not sure if your health resets if you do end up losing all of your own health. So that's something I have no idea about because I've never failed this part before. I'm just going around just to get a little bit of fun in myself before I go to the Black Baron, because I don't want this job to end too soon. Plus, I did get to show this off in the Aces semifinals. You can go up, but if you go up for too long, it's going to stall your plane, and the game will push you back down. This is essentially a barrier that the game put in place so you don't go too high up in the field. Okay, there's the Baron. Try to go after him. I'm pretty sure I got enough ammo to bring the Baron down, so there shouldn't be much difficulty or too difficult to handle. Just gotta stick with his movement and then I'll be good. And of course avoid any fire that comes my way. The Baron's plane is pretty fragile too. It doesn't take that many shots to take it down in my opinion. And a side note, I think this would be a job that would have a choice if you want to use the 3D feature or not. I believe that was part of the original version of this game, or if you have the 3D feature enabled on your TV.
Right. That Goon is good. Gunships, converge on my position and destroy the Cooper aircraft. Send in a spare plane as well. Roger, Baron. All units en route.
Sorry, Baron, but you'll have to fight fair this year.
What? Who is this? How did you find this frequency? What? No? That? This is... Hold! I command it! Oh! This plane's come unfixed. High time for an upgrade, I say.
Oh no, you don't, you weasel.
Weasels, am I?
I beat you. Your biplane is in pieces.
But we're both still airborne, aren't we? The victor has yet to be decided.
Then, let's settle it.
Beware, my boy. I've trained 10 years at fisticuffs. Pugilism is my passion.
If you fight as well as you fly, then this shouldn't take long.
On guard!
And the fight's not over yet, apparently to the Baron's logic. But before we go on with this fight, I want to say something about that windmill. I've never seen it break off like that before during the cutscene. That never happens. So it's a little weird to see how the windmill actually still worked at taking out the Baron's gunships. Okay, so speaking of the Baron, we now have a little fisticuff fight with him, well at least fisticane fight with him up on one of his planes. Wait till he commits to the big uppercut that we've been seeing him deliver time and time again, and then moving for the big flurry. You can't go after him when he's just trying to pot shot you, but he'll end up doing chip damage to you like he did to me just now. You can't do the same to him, but it's best to wait till he goes for the big uppercut. That's when you can move in to deliver more damage. He's also got that diving attack you can look out for. You can simply jump over him to avoid that attack. This will take a little time to go after, but after a while he will alert some of its other guards to try and get the numbers in its favor. Just do what I'm doing right now. Camp out near the side of the door and swipe up all the pigs that enter through that door. You'll get some health if you're lucky enough to do so. Like I did just now. I got 2 health pickups. Nice. From this point on, every now and then he will do just that. Hop on to the side of the plane's wing. When he does that, just jump and then I guess use the paraglide if your jump height is not high enough. Other than that, not much has changed. He'll still do the big uppercut, that dive move. Just pay attention to his movements and act accordingly to what he's gonna do next. Over half health already. With a few more flurries, this fight should be good as ours. I will be able to take the title of Aces Champions for good. This fight is one of the easier boss fights in my opinion of this game, but if you know what you're doing, you'll be able to get through this in a huge pinch. The only change here in the final phase is that another pig will appear every so often. You can use that guide to get any health back if you're feeling a little unsafe about how the fight's turning out for you. But like I said, it's one of the easier fights. You shouldn't have any problem with this. And that plane attack can also hurt one of its own guards. I have no idea how that happens. It just does.
A fatal blow!
That's enough. You win, Cooper.
Wait, you? You're Penelope, the Baron's mechanic. No, you are the Black Baron.
Suppose someone was bound to find out sooner or later. I guess I'm kind of relieved.
But why?
Look, let's talk on the ground where it's safe.
It was quite a revelation. Penelope and the Black Baron were one and the same. But before we could even process this turn of events, we were rushed to the winner's circle. Somehow, against all odds, we become this year's champions. There was a bit of an awkward moment between Bentley and Penelope. I guess the photos they'd sent each other over the internet were a bit exaggerated. That night, Penelope explained that the disguise was invented to get her past the Dogfighting League's strict age requirements. However, after winning, the Baron became a celebrity, and she found herself putting on the costume more and more often. But now, with the Black Baron out of the picture, she was free to take up a new path, and she joined the gang without hesitation. The next day, our newest recruit treated us to a week-long aerial tour of Holland. She was fitting in just fine.
Now you see what happens when things go according to plan? Except for that impromptu Black Baron fist fight, things went completely smooth and we were able to handle this in a lot less time than I thought we would. If I went if I went right for the Baron's plane, right at the get-go in the Aces finals, then I think we would have cut this operation down by a couple more minutes at best. This might have been the fastest run I've ever had with Turbo Dominant Eagle. I guess to add on a couple more seconds to this video, we'll check some of the concept art, starting with Rumble Down Under because I actually forgot to do that when we finished up that episode. That looks cool, I guess. Starry night sky of the Australian landscape. That's actually really cool. Okay. Guess we've seen some rough sketches of the landscape. I guess there's supposed to be a store here at some point, but that got scrapped. Or maybe that's what happened to the bar. It was going to be a store at some point, but then it got changed. I'm not really sure what happened about that. This is the first time I am seeing the concept art of these episodes after all. So I'm getting the first impressions here, probably as much as you are if you never took the time to look at these. Okay, that's weird. I guess that's supposed to be another enemy? Probably. That guy just got a really big head. That is what the Goon looked like before? That looks kinda cool, not gonna lie. I wonder if he was gonna become an archer by the way he's using that arrow. That was a really silly image. Let's take a look at this one again. That guy is not happy with his hair at all. I think he needs a haircut. That's some concept art about the dingoes. And there's a kangaroo. And an alligator. Probably a minor alligator. Maybe that's gonna be another enemy, but that ended up getting scrapped. Probably they thought they had too much variety in the enemy design as is. And now for the Holland stuff. Let's take a look at that again. I guess let's get more of a town. I see a marketplace there of some sort. It is pretty interesting to see some of this art that was sketched out during development. Kind of gives more of an insight to what the designers were going through when they were making these maps. More of the hotel. We didn't get to spend much time in the hotel, so I'm surprised to see there's a lot of sketches about that. And there's Dimitri, enjoying a little bit of a beverage there. Maybe that's what he was doing when he was not color commentating. He was doubling as a bar vendor of sorts. Oh my god. Okay, that's really scary. It's a good thing that we didn't cross the wolf too much in our time in Holland. That guy looks derpy. Looks a little scary, it's a ram. That might be one of the Belgian pilots. That looks really cute, I gotta say. I wonder what that design was gonna be about. And she has a little plane too, that's really adorable. Maybe that's what Penelope looked like before, that could be her. And there's the Black Baron who looked a little more menacing. That might be like an ascot he's wearing, but I could mistake that for teeth in the pilot design. That could be just me. Well, at least we caught up with all the concept art stuff, so now we got that taken care of. And of course, since Penelope's in the gang, she's not going to be shown in the main menu of this game going forward. And of course, the music has changed as well. So with all that taken care of, we're going to stop for today. That ended up being a lot shorter than I thought it would be. But that means we'll get to spend a lot more time now in our next episode. So when we continue with Slide 3, we'll be starting the next episode of the game, A Cold Alliance. Until we meet again, farewell for now.